Good morning, friends, and welcome to June. My name is Alana, if we haven't met before. Today we are just gonna go through and see what's doing well in the garden, what's not doing great, and it is our first big harvest of the year. So I have my harvest baskets, which are probably a little bit of overkill at this point, but I figured I would just rather be prepared. We have a handful of things that we need to grab, and I've already started harvesting a handful of things just here and there, like as I need a garlic for a recipe or things like that, but I haven't really done a big come out here and just kind of clean out what needs to get cleaned out. The biggest thing is the peaches. This big green fluff right there are the peach trees, and there are a lot of peaches right now. So let's just go around and I will just show you what is growing while we harvest some things. And I do have a couple things I need to swap out, but I don't know. We'll see what we get to. Okay, so right here we have the shallots. I don't think these are ready to harvest. I've never grown shallots before, but my understanding is that they need to kind of die back just like an onion or garlic would. Which brings me to this patch right here that all looks dead. For the most part, this is garlic, and most of this we're gonna pull right now. And these are just some flowers that I put in here. Okay, so I just pulled a bunch of these, and I was gonna leave the last few because they're still more green than I would usually like, but I can see a few of the heads have split. So I'm just gonna go ahead and harvest all of them, and what we'll do is we're just gonna peel them all and preserve them instead of keeping them for storage. But these are also hardneck varieties, and hardneck varieties do not store as long as softneck varieties. They're called hardneck because they kind of have this hard, long stem in the middle, and yeah, they don't store as well. But I will say this variety, which is called Norquay. I'll put it up on the screen. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. So far, this has been our favorite one that we've grown. We really like this one. So we will grow it again next year. But yeah, it's delicious. And the garlic scapes off of this were delicious too. All right. That is the hardneck garlic. Let's go get the softneck. Okay, the next bed over, these are the shallots, and these ones have started to die back a lot more. So I'm hoping that's a good sign. These ones obviously haven't, but the ones around the edge have. So I don't know. I don't even know how to harvest these. I'm just gonna try to pull one up. And they're growing in like clusters, which I was reading online. I think that's normal, and I think a lot of people tend to split the clusters, but I didn't know that was a thing, so I didn't do it. Yeah, so I'm not sure. To me, this just looks like a bunch of, what do you call it? Like green onions in shallot form. So I don't know. I'm hoping that when these all die back, that I'll have actual shallots this year. If any of you have experience growing shallots, let me know. Did I more likely plant them all too closely? Should I have thinned them out, or is this what they're supposed to look like? Because it looks like not really. I mean, they smell like a shallot. I'm sure we can still eat them like this, but I think this is just not what I was expecting. Okay, so we're gonna scoot on down a bit and start putting this garlic. Now, this is a softneck variety of garlic, and when you harvest garlic, it's usually best to pull from the bottom and not just like pull up from the plant, because you risk this part tearing. And yeah, this split really bad, so we're gonna harvest all of this too. I was doing really good with consistently watering, and then it rained a couple of times, and definitely got more moist in here than it should have, which is probably why this garlic split. But we'll just do the same thing that we're doing with the other garlic, which is essentially just preserve them all now. But I'm gonna go grab a shovel because this is in here pretty dense, and I'm gonna try to pull up from underneath the bottom. And just like last year, some of these are huge. Oh yeah. See, this one's split really bad, and that is usually very typical if you have uneven watering. Particularly, they didn't get enough water and then they got a ton of water. So it's okay, they'll still taste good. As long as they don't rot, you're good to eat them. Yeah, and then we have a couple that just like are perfect. It's a good size, it's not split, it's nice and dried. This is like a perfect garlic for us. And this one is the, oh man, I can't actually read that anyway. I'll have to look it up. Sicilian, I think. Oh, and there's a little worm on there. Okay, on the other side of the garlic are just some marigolds. I think I told you guys about these in a previous video, but my daughter and I started these together and she's been really excited. These are the Cracker Jack marigolds, so they grow huge and they're a lot of fun. And if you wanted to do like a cut and come again, you could do that with these because they get so big, and you could definitely put these in vases. But as it is, we just leave them in here. And then there's another one growing up back here. It just got so much bigger than I thought it would, and it just hasn't flowered yet. And then in front of it here is a bell pepper, which let's just look through and see if there's anything in here. Which there is. Look. I don't know if you can see that. There's a nice big one here. There's another one here. I don't think this one's quite ready yet. These bell peppers have been some of my biggest success this year because I've never been able to successfully grow just like regular California bell peppers. This particular one is the same seed that I've tried for like the last 4 years, and I always get these teeny tiny little bell peppers, and I always blame it on me not starting early enough. And this year I tried to start really early, and I planted them all in fresh soil. I didn't put them in the back hill, and I think that's helped them a lot, because this one, and you'll see another one there, are both really thriving. And like clearly that's, well, I just broke a stem. This one's going to grow into a decent sized bell pepper, and I think these two have a good chance also. And then you'll see what we have growing over there, but that's a huge win for this year because I have never been able to do that before. And the only thing I changed was starting earlier and just essentially making sure they had more nutrients in that early part of the growing period. And this is the famed strawberry mess. As you can see from there, probably we have strawberries, but most of them are getting eaten by bugs. So let's see. Ooh, spider on my hat. Let's see if there's anything in here we get to actually eat. Let's see. That's half eaten. Half eaten. Half eaten. Got one. Half eaten. Two. Ugh, mostly eaten. Those are okay. All right, I'm going to bring you in close so you can see this. So this is a nice little patch of strawberries. That one's got like 6 bites on it, so that's gone. This one looks okay though. I found with this variety, which I honestly don't remember which one it is, the darker they are does not mean that they're going to taste better. They're usually best when they're about this color. And this one doesn't have, oh, it's got 1 tiny bite on it. I'm still going to eat that. There's some more down here. That looks good. Ah, I'm dropping them. Okay, that's it. Oh wait, there's more over here. Okay, one that's not eaten and one that is. All right, well, there we go. This is the black beauty zucchini, and we have one growing right now. It got stuck on the side of the wall here, so it's kind of a funny shape. That's my, it's my 1-year-old you hear drumming on the window. So yeah, pretty good size. All right, and this is the other bell pepper I was telling you about, and I think the first one is ready for harvest, and the second one over here, it'll be ready any day now. And then there's a couple more growing in there. So like I said, those are doing great. And then I actually see the tomatoes are all starting to go downhill, but that's okay because we're starting to get our first tomato harvest. So I'm starting to see just a couple of these turn, and If you don't know, you can actually grab a tomato when it's just starting to turn even less red than this, and they'll turn on your counter. And I have to just give another shout out to my daughter. This was part of her Mother's Day gift, and we planted it, and it is growing so well, these purple petunias. Okay, and in this little garden bed here, we have pretty much just a bunch of stuff that went to seed. So we've got the basil going to seed, and I like to let it go to seed because the pollinators really enjoy it, and it still smells really nice. And then next to it right here, this is actually some lettuce going to seed, and I should probably just pull this out because it's just sapping nutrients. And then the cilantro is just starting to try to go to seed, so we'll have to see if we can harvest any of that. And then we've got another Cracker Jack marigold. You can see, now that you have my hand here for reference, you can see just how big this plant gets and how this would be very pretty in a vase. All right, and on the other side of that planter, we have the lime tree, which we don't have any limes on it, at least not that I've spotted for this year, which is a bummer. That's the last year was the first year that we got a decent harvest off this, and I was kind of hoping that that would just be what's going on or what's going to happen going forward, but it's not, so that's okay. And then same with the Dancy Mandarin. This is actually the first year I've never gotten fruit off of this, so that's a bummer here. Both of these trees were affected by pests and diseases this last year, and so I'm hoping I can get them to recover. My plan is, in here we have some snapdragons in this big pot, and some cilantro, and a big old mum right there. But my plan is, when these pineapples are done, and when I'm done with the this planter for the cilantro and the snapdragons, is to take these two citrus trees and put them in here, because you can see this planter is significantly smaller than this planter. Now there is the concern that if I move this, if I try to up-pot this, that it's going to have some significant transplant shock, especially because it's recovering from diseases. But at this point, these trees were kind of just like, they weren't a gift. Somebody just gave them to me because they dug them out of their own yards. And so I'm just like, well, at this point, it'd be cool if it works. If not, oh well. And then next to the tree is the pineapple, which is still growing pretty good. We have one here and one back there, and they're looking great. And as much as I love growing pineapple, I am ready to use this planter for something else, because these things are big and pokey, and when you've got little kids, they're not the best plant to have in the backyard. All right, so a little flower update. We've got some zinnias growing here, and in the back they just haven't flowered yet. And this is Bluey. For those who've been following along, my daughter's sunflower, it bloomed, and look, we've got, and it's the one I told you guys before. I think it's called Starbird's Panache. I'll try to put that up on the screen as well. And it shoots off a bunch of flower heads on each stalk. And so we've got one here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are flowered right now, and there's more that are trying to like poke through. So that's really exciting. She's been very excited to watch that happen. And this is the original one. This is Bingo. The first one she named Bingo. The second one she named Bluey. And yeah, they're both doing great. And I think that Bingo has got her first flower head, so we're gonna get a sunflower here too. And what I like about these is they're nice and short. So these are not for eating, they're just for enjoying. And depending on, like when you've got a raised garden bed like I do here, you don't necessarily want a 6-foot sunflower, which I will show you I have on the other side. They're not supposed to get that tall, but they did. Up the hill, we've got the lemon that's doing great, the weeds that are just an uphill battle. That looks like a big weedy mess at the top up there. That's not. That is a California wildflower mix and some volunteer onions. And all of that up there is actually doing really great. I'll see if I can get some footage. Let's see if I can zoom in for you right now. That little patch of orange you're seeing back there is actually some poppies. So I'll have to see if I can show you what those look like. The Caracar orange is struggling under some weed pressure, and I need to give that some love, and I'll talk about these peaches in just a minute. We have some more snapdragons. The bell pepper, or not bell pepper, what was I saying? The jalapeno peppers are doing great. These plants are so tiny. I do not know why. I've never had jalapeno pepper plants that are so tiny, but they're also producing, so I guess I'll just take what I can get. It could have been a fertilization problem. I don't know. I fertilized them a handful of times and they still just stay super tiny, but that's okay. Very compact. This is the variety. I just picked these up at the store because it was $4 for 4 of them. So it was $1 a piece. Figured like a good deal. And then this is the tomato patch down here, and there's little bits of, you can see red popping through. So we're gonna grab those right now. And the other thing that we're seeing is this. That's a problem. Those are my peaches dropping off the tree up here. So this is a big project for today. this is the big project for today, is to get up there and pick these peaches because they need to come down. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them. There's kind of peaches everywhere. On the other side of the tomatoes, we have the green beans, which are doing so great. If you followed along at all, I have struggled so much to get green beans to grow here, particularly to get anything to grow up this trellis. And these green beans this year, much like the bell peppers, have shown me that I can do it if I set my mind to it. I started these earlier this year and that made a big difference. Now they've kind of stunted because the heat is getting to them, but I have gotten some green beans off of these and I don't really see any right now. Oh yeah, there are some. So they're just kind of hard to spot because they're green, but yeah, that has been exciting. All right, for those of you who have watched any of my previous videos about my fruit trees, I did not take my own advice this year and I did not thin them as well as I should have because you can see they are loaded with fruit. And hopefully that doesn't cause too much of a problem. If anything, it's probably gonna give me smaller fruit this year, which is probably okay if I'm gonna just snack on them, but if I'm gonna make anything with them, that's gonna get a little frustrating. But thin your fruit trees. Don't follow my example. But it is exciting to see that much fruit. And then next to the fruit trees, we have this is the Dapple Dandy Pluot, and we have a handful of those on the tree, and I'm excited about those. And on the other side, I'll show you from the other angle, and we are getting a lot of flavor grenades, and that's pretty usual. We get the grenades tend to produce really well. All right, then we've got the compost pile filled with volunteers and a handful of cucumbers that I didn't see growing. So this is kind of a failure over here on the other side. We have some onions interspersed in here, so that's what you're seeing pop up. But I have these cucumber plants, and I think I started them too late, but more importantly, I wasn't paying attention to them. And they started putting out cucumbers, and the first cucumbers they put out were beautiful, but they were also ignored by me. I didn't see them. So most of the cucumbers that have been growing since are not that great, though that one looks like it's gonna come. So I'm gonna probably harvest the last few cucumbers off of these in a week or so, and then I'm gonna rip them out and replace them with some more zucchini plants. And then right here we have a gray zucchini plant. I love this zucchini. Unfortunately, I have not been able to get out here and pollinate. I usually come and hand pollinate, and you can see how many fruit have not been pollinated. But oh look, there's a beautiful one right there. I am just gonna go in there and hand pollinate that right now. This is a nail flower. You can tell because it's got this long stem right here. I'm just gonna pop it off, and it's filled with ants, which is another problem. And I'm going to peel the leaves back, or the petals. All right, so it's looking like this, and then I'm gonna basically just go in. You know, this is the female flower because it has the fruit attached to the flower, and I am just going to pollinate it. You just want to get the pollen off of the male flower onto the female flower, and then I'll have a nice zucchini there in about a week. So yeah, hand pollinating zucchini is really easy, and I have not been able to do it just because those flowers usually close up by the time I'm able to get out here, but it looks like I caught one today, so that's exciting. And it also looks like I have one that may have gotten pollinated right there, so we'll see. Next to that, these are the 6 foot tall sunflowers I was telling you about. Same variety, not sure why that one got so tall, but so like this is more of the normal height. I just wanted to turn the camera around to show you. So this is about the same height as me, but remember this is on like a 2.5 foot tall, like it's raised up. And so this is probably like 3 feet tall. Yeah, it's probably about 3 feet tall. But this one right here is way taller than that. So I don't know, same variety, just doing different things. So that's just how plants grow. And then I just have some onions and some zinnias here. I could probably stick something right here, just seeing that. That's a nice shaded area because of all the sunflowers. So I don't know, I'll have to think of, maybe I could put a new cucumber here because it's got a little bit of shade. The kale's just going to seed, which I am happily letting it do. And then up the hill, we have the avocado trees, which I'm gonna be really honest, I never painted, which you should paint your avocado trees to protect them from sun. You can see up there a lot of exposed branches. That is not a good thing. So that's another thing of do as I say and not as I do. So protect your avocado trees from the sun. But unfortunately, I'm just probably not gonna do that this year. I have different priorities. There are a handful of baby avocados up there. Let me see if I can show you. Yeah, so you can see a couple of them on the branches. This has happened last year as well. I don't know if any of these are going to hang on given the state of the health of the tree. We'll see. And then I haven't spotted any avocados on this tree up at the top, but you tell me if you see any. But this tree looks a lot healthier. It still has a lot of exposed branches. So even if there are a couple avocados, I would expect them to probably drop off at our first heat wave. Here in Southern California, we get a handful of heat waves throughout the summer, which go figure. I mean, it's already almost touched 100 degrees twice now, and it's just the start of June. So when these trees hit above 100 degrees, they go through a lot of stress, especially if you haven't painted them and protected them. Being up on a hill, it's really hard for me to shade them. A lot of people would just shade their avocado trees in those heat waves, but I can't do that. And so that's part of the problem. And that's when I'm expecting that fruit will probably drop off when those trees experience those temperatures. I've painted them 2 out of the 5 years that they've been here. And I mean, it's helped, but they've never produced anything, and I'm sure that they would in the future. But the peach trees are doing really well, so I want to put all my effort on them because I don't have too much time to give. When I've got 2 littles in the house, I have to prioritize, and the trees that are giving me an abundance are what I'm going to prioritize. So I'm sorry, little avocado trees, but we'll see if they make it. Okay, so I'm just stepping over into the shade for a minute because we're gonna go do those peach trees, and it is sunny, and my daughter wants to help me with that, so I am going to let her come out and make a whole lot of noise, and so you pretty much won't be able to hear me anymore. So I'm gonna go harvest the peaches, and then we'll do a little recap at the end of what I was able to harvest because I'm pleasantly surprised. So I don't know, let's see what we get off the trees first. And I almost forgot to harvest these tomatoes, so I went ahead and I'm showing you those here. You can see they're starting to really show signs of disease, but it doesn't matter because I'm getting tomatoes. I actually have gotten 3 times as much as I just showed you just in the next week after recording this. And then I pretty much spend the next, oh gosh, it probably took me 45 minutes to pick the fruit off these trees because I'm trying to leave as much on the tree as I can because I can't manage this many peaches as once. But you see me here kind of like really looking closely at each peach, and that is because some of them were just too far gone, and so those had to go in the compost pile. And then you can also see in the background a couple of times, if you look closely, there's this cat that just streaks through here and there. That's not my cat, that's a neighbor's cat. He's very friendly, and so we enjoy having him in the garden, except for when he's chasing out my garden lizards, which I love. One of the other things that I will show you in a little bit is that the fruit was affected by peach leaf curl this year, and this is the most significant I've ever seen it. And I did notice that some of the fruit that was affected by it was rotting significantly faster. So a couple of the peaches I lost because I took too long to pick them, but a lot of the ones that had the peach leaf curl had kind of started to go bad where the kind of diseased areas were. You'll see how many peaches I got, which was tons. It was something around 30 something pounds of peaches, but I probably lost like maybe 8 pounds of peaches to disease this year. So this is what the fruit looks like when it's damaged by peach leaf curl. Most of the fruit looks fine, but there's a couple that look really bad like this. My understanding is it's okay to eat, but most people cut that part off. I don't know. I'm gonna have to cut it open and see what it looks like inside. Okay, I would normally take you up on the hill to show you all of this, but this basket was way too heavy to carry up there and it's hot, so I figured I'll just set it here. So I wanted to show you guys the peaches. We have this whole basket down here, this whole basket here. I am not exaggerating at all. I'm thinking this is at least 30 pounds of peaches because I can't really lift it. And my daughter weighs 30 pounds and I can pick her up. I mean, I guess I can't pick her up with one hand, so I don't know. I'm guessing 30 pounds. I don't know if you can see there's a cat behind me. It's not my cat. So we got a little bit of strawberries. We got, let's see, we got some flowers. I did pick some flowers. We got the bell pepper, the tomatoes, that one zucchini, which I'm pretty sure is gonna end up in tonight's dinner. A whole bunch of Softneck garlic and a whole bunch of Hardneck garlic. And what else did we pick? Oh, the little bit of shallots that I'm not sure how those are gonna be. The big deal, obviously, this time around was the peaches. I'll weigh these. What I do every year is I create videos just kind of like recapping each of my fruit tree harvests, and it helps me kind of keep track of everything, but I think it also helps show you guys just how much you can get off a fruit tree in the backyard, because this is a very, very heavily pruned fruit tree. You know, I'm not a commercial grower or anything like that, and I don't have a bunch of space because I'm growing it up on a hill. and I'm usually getting almost 100 pounds, 200 pounds of fruit every year. And so that's something that if you want to subscribe, you can see later in the year when I make my recap. I don't do those until after pretty much all my trees are done. And I have 2 peach trees. I have an August Pride and an Eva's Pride. And the August Pride, obviously, you harvest in August. So probably won't be till September or so when that video comes out. And then the apple trees are later in the season, and so are the blue ones, if you're interested in those. I also wanted to show you, since I'm sitting down here, these are the new zucchini plants, and then I also have some pumpkin plants in here that I started that are going to fill in some of the spaces that I'm going to be making in the garden. And then if you can see, oops, put that in the sun. If you can see right behind me, that pile right there, those are all peaches. I'll try to give you a close-up that I lost to birds, disease, and it took me too long to harvest them. So some of them were way too ripe, and so when I went to pull them off the tree, they basically just squashed under my hand. There was only like 2 of those, but ooh. And most of them were birds. And all that being said, to get this many peaches and only lose that many is not that bad, but just looking at it hurts your heart a little bit. This is a diseased fruit, and I'll show you, I guess I can kind of show you from here, but this is what it looks like. It's damaged from the peach leaf curl, as opposed to this ginormous peach, which is huge, but it's beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it at all. So even though even though the tree is suffering from peach leaf curl, not all of the fruit are. Actually, I would say it's probably less than like, sorry, my daughter's inside. I'm being silly. Probably less than maybe 10-15% of the fruit is affected by the disease, but that's still a big deal when, when I plan to use all these. So that's something that's an uphill battle, just to be honest about what's going on right now. Oh, hi, Steve. This is the cat that's not mine. He's just a neighborhood cat. Anyway, so that is what June looks like for 2025. Thank you so much for joining me in the garden. I'd love to hear what you guys are harvesting right now. If you guys are struggling with anything like I am with the cucumbers or the peach leaf curl, or if you have any advice about the shallots, I'd love to hear it. I know some of you guys have grown shallots in the past, so let me know what I could do different next year, or if I should just wait it out and if I'm still going to get a decent harvest. And I'd love to hear what is your big bounty this year going to be. Peaches are almost always it for me because the peaches just produce so much. But having this much garlic's exciting too. And this Hardneck variety, I've got to tell you guys, it's so good. It's my favorite garlic that I've grown so far, and I've grown 4 varieties, and this one tastes the best. So once again, I'm trying to remember what it was called, Norquay I think it was. But as far as my family is concerned, we all really like this one. We've liked all of the garlic. We're a big garlic family. But this one we've liked the best for eating raw and for cooking. Being a Hardneck variety, it doesn't store super great, but on the flip side of that, garlic scapes were also a game changer this year. First time getting garlic scapes, so this was a big win for the garden, and I will be doing that again in the future. I just want to say thank you for spending some time with me out here. I love it when I have people to just talk to about gardening and life. So please leave me a comment. It's my favorite thing to go through these videos and just have conversations with people about what you guys are growing, and going back and forth with our questions, and it's really helpful for me, and I hope it's helpful for you too. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next month. Bye, friends. Oh man, that was a really good peach. There was an earwig on it, so I dropped it.